Alright, ladies and gentlemen, RABZ here, not with X. Smash. Recapping Game 6 of the NHL Finals, Stanley Cup Final between my champion, Pittsburgh Penguins against the San Jose Sharks, and a couple of hours away from the game between the Cavs and the Warriors. So recapping NHL, I'm here by myself, so it's going to be a bit harder than usual. It was a good game. First game I've seen of like NHL in a while, just because Pittsburgh were in it, and it's good fun time. But San Jose was better the whole game. As Pittsburgh fans, no, don't want to be saying this, but we did not deserve to win that game at all. So many icing calls were missed. It was just a bad time in general. Like, we were not good at all. We weren't bad. We were okay. The San Jose should have scored at least like 3, 4. I mean, they just kept building up the pressure in the first 10 minutes, 15 minutes of each period, apart from the third. I feel like the third, they kind of gave up. I feel like they were too angry at the missed calls by the refs that they were just like, okay, well, we'll try again next year. And they're not going to have a next year, to be honest. I'm surprised they even got there. So, their best chance to win something, and what happens? They get beaten. And I really do feel bad for them. I really do. Because they had such a great season, and it was just a good time to be a Sharks fan for once, and it was just, But Burns for the Sharks, man. He was really starting to get a bit edgy towards the end, and it was just, not even towards the end, it was a bit edgy the whole game. I was kind of not scared, but just like, what are we going to do here? Or what, he's got to obviously not, it was just a bad situation. But, yeah, I didn't really like it very much. It's okay. Yeah, so, Penguins, yes, 5 times, I can now say that. We have 5 times, as Booker T would say, 5 times, NHL champions. And no, I'm not a bandwagoner, I'm Australian, I have no idea what I'm doing. Hey, I didn't know that. Just wasn't a, there's not a lot to say about the game. I'd rather go on to preview Game 5 of the Warriors and the Cavs. Now, this is only going to be short, maybe 5-10 minute video because X isn't here. But Draymond Green suspension. Too little, too fucking late. Alright. Now, I used to play Aussie rules and I used to be the dirtiest player in the game. I used to, run around, call rangers redheads, just do all kinds, little cheap shots here and there. But kicking a guy in the nuts for a dirty player, or a passionate, quote-unquote, passionate player, that is too far. Should have gone suspended that game. And everyone's saying, he does it all the time. Sorry, not all the time. He does it heaps. So, you kind of understand it. No, he doesn't do it. If he does it heaps, that means he only does it against players. Monty Yunus played well on defense and frustrated him. Went to go kick him. Steven Adams played good on him. Went to go kick him. LeBron James went underneath him because LeBron James was playing on him really well. And it's just the players that play on him constantly very well. He gets annoyed at, and he's just a jackass. He doesn't understand that this isn't punishing him. This isn't going to punish him or the Warriors. I feel like the league wants this series to be competitive, so that they kept leaving, the Warriors to be good and to win, that they didn't suspend him at all. The Matthew Dellavedova, that incident, if you're going to say, what about Matthew Dellavedova's hit punch, he should have been, any accident, unless it's an open hand swatting at the ball, any low blow needs to be an automatic 1 week suspension and then go from there to determine, was it really intentional? It doesn't matter. Guys know how painful that is. And it's unbelievable. And everyone's getting on LeBron's back. He's bad. It's his fault they're not winning. blah 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 blah. It's not his fault. He's dropping on average 24 points a game, I think. He always had a triple double in game 4, which they lost. It's not his fault. It's Kyrie not showing up, and it's them starting Richard Jefferson. And that's them starting Richard Jefferson. I don't understand why. Why would you not start Fry? If Fry was your catalyst to being a fantastic player all the way through the Eastern Conference, why do you then persist on starting Richard freaking Jefferson and not think? It just doesn't make sense. I'm a Kings fan, so I don't really care. But as an overseas guy, you want to see the NBA be marketable. This series isn't helping the NBA at all because I haven't watched any of the games this season in this series. I watched maybe game 1, and then I've just seen highlights and read the blogs and read the online stuff because it's just been a really boring series. It's just not what I want to see. It's just, as an overseas fan, it's just, well, oh well, it's over. Okay, there's and it's over. Yeah, it's so much fun to watch. Ooh, go the Warriors. It's just a pain in the ass to have them win because I know that they're not that good. But now onto the topic of Love being traded. Now I've gone through this with my friend Mumu, I like to call him Mumu. My friend Mumu, who I hope to have on here at some point. He is suggesting trades. Like, we're talking about Kevin Love being traded. Sit him out. Don't let him play ever again. His draft stock's just going to go down. Actually, no. You need to play him, because if you don't play him, then his draft stock is going to be even worse, because it's like he's not good enough to win the finals. He's not even good enough to play in the finals. Why do you want to trade for him? It's just a hard thing. He's at the beginning of the playoffs, before this series, his draft stock was like, probably, maybe not. No, after Atlanta series, his draft stock was probably up the top, and and then Toronto series started going downhill, but draft stock still pretty premium high, and now this series he's just like, and people were saying, oh yeah, trade him for Blake Griffin. The Clippers wouldn't go for that. Trade him for Chris Paul. The Clippers wouldn't go for that. Why would the Clippers do that to themselves? To get rid of an A-class player for a C-class player. That doesn't make sense. You're not going to be able to get that trade done. And people are like, oh yeah, trade Crowder. But then you're swapping out a power forward for a small forward, and you're going to make LeBron play power forward the whole year next season, which during the playoffs he should play power forward, but during the regular season he should play small forward because there's so many weak small forward opponents that he can play on, which is fantastic. I understand from the playoff standpoint, having Jay Crowder would work. Having LeBron play his best years in Miami at the power forward position with Chris Bosh playing 5. Which brings me to my next point. The trade that I believe will win the next season will make the Cavaliers win the title. And that's Kevin Love for Tyson Chandler. Just straight swap. If that works. I don't know the cap situation. I don't know any of that. But Kevin Love for Tyson Chandler. If you need to put extra pieces in that trade, get the extra pieces. Tyson Chandler is a proven defensive Mongol in the middle, which is what they need. And he's athletic enough to do switches like Steven Adams and Ibaka in the Western Conference Finals series. They are decent enough to do that. He is athletic enough to do that. So you trade him, and then the starting lineup for this series is Kyrie on Steph. You like that matchup. That matchup's a good matchup because Kyrie can stay on him. And then Tyson Chandler can switch, and he's a 7-footer, and then they got to try and shoot over him again. And then they got to, with LeBron playing power, just kind of like Ibaka, just not as tall, but more physical. They got to shoot over him as well, who is actually more athletic than Ibaka. And it's just a good dynamic. And then small forward, if you can get a decent small forward, then it just doesn't have to be a really good one. I don't know who's in free agency, don't know what's happening, but if you get an okay one, you get a pretty good guy who can spot up, shoot threes, that's good, because then you take out J.R. Smith into the lineup and put in defensive Iman Shumpert. So you got Kyrie, who can play two ways, Shumpert, who's defense, a small forward who is offense, maybe just CJ Miles, but I'm pretty sure he's still on contract. Evan Turner, Jonas Jerebko, just someone. Jonas Jerebko actually played amazing against Atlanta. It sucks that they got knocked out, because I would love to have seen Boston versus Cleveland, because LeBron against Boston, he's kind of his bogey team, really. Um, so yeah, get maybe Evan Turner, Jones to Rebco, then try and so you get an offensive small forward, and then LeBron who can play two ways. So really, at the guard's position, you have guys who you have a defensive guy, and then you have an offensive guy, and then in the forward you have a defensive guy in Tyson Chandler, you have an offensive guy in LeBron James, and in small forward needs to be a two-way player. That's what there needs to be. You need an offensive defense in the guards, offense defense between power forward and center, depending on which way you want. It doesn't bother. And then you have a definite two-way player playing the three, or even a third guard instead of a third forward who can spot up threes. Because that's all you're paying Kevin Love to do. You're paying Kevin Love millions and millions of dollars. Like, way too much for what he's doing. He's only going to be a spot-up three player now while he's at Cleveland. You know who plays that position? Channing Frye. Channing Frye plays it better than Kevin Love. What is the point of having Kevin Love, you're paying him that much money, to do Channing Frye's job? Channing Frye can go in there and do that. Channing Frye can do what Kevin Love is doing right now. Stinking up the place. Like, it's just... Tyronn Lue, everyone's saying he's a great coach in the East. But I do believe the East is getting stronger and stronger with time. I do believe it's stronger than the West right now as like a collective group. And here's a trade actually, now I think about it. I don't know what the cap space is like. Kevin Love and maybe someone else. I don't know who they could put in this deal for DeMarcus. I'm a Kings fan. I don't want to see Kevin Love in the Kings. But I'm looking at this as a Cavs point of view because, you know, they obviously want to win something. Cleveland have won the past, 40, 50 years. I'm looking at this as a fan who hasn't won anything for so long. And that, if you could do that, that'd be good. But, you know, the Kings are opening a new arena. They need to go, they need to sell seats for the first game. Which brings me to my Warriors point. Why are Oakland people so... I'm Australian. Oakland fans, or people from Oakland... Tell me why you love the Warriors so much. They're leaving you. They're going back literally to the Bay. They are not Oakland. I hear Warriors fans saying, yeah, Oakland pride, Oakland this, yeah, the zero, yeah, let's go the Warriors, Oakland. They're not going to be there. They're leaving you. This next banner is not going to be hung here. It's not going to be hung in Oracle. It's going to be in San Francisco. Why are you so persist on being like, yeah, we love, yeah, you can love the team, but I wouldn't be all like, yeah, this is Oakland's team, because it's never been, and it's never been, and it never will be an Oakland team. It will always forever be San Francisco's team. Which is mind-boggling me, because it's just like, poof. And you know what? On the subject of teams switching places, another thing I discussed with Movement, I want Seattle back in the league. My dad was a massive Supersonics fan. He loved them, and then when they got out of the league in 2008, he stopped watching, which is when I started in 2008. I got to see Paul Pierce, Ray Allen, and Kevin Garnett. Two of those are my top two players of all time, my favorites, with Dwayne Wade. But I fell in love with the Kings because of Jalen Rose, Chris Webber, the Fab Five. I watched all of their stuff. The Fab Five, I watched all of it as a little kid. And I followed Chris Webber, so I was like, okay, well, his best years were in the Kings, I'm going to go for the Kings. Fuck, that was a mistake. Jesus. That's Klay Thompson. Sheesh. Whew. No. Whew. I need to catch my breath. But, to bring a Seattle team back into the league right now would be great, because I feel like Kevin Durant might go. I feel like maybe next season bring in Seattle, tell Kevin Durant he can go back there. And I feel like he's a guy who would go back. I feel like he would be that guy who could go back to Seattle during free agency next year. This year he's signing with Oklahoma City. There's no question. He's obviously not going to move. He's going to test the waters a little bit, get a feel for next year's free agency. And that would be the big one. That's next year's the time where he's asking where will Kevin Durant go. This year, not so much. This year, he's gonna having chicken and waffles with James Harden. Oh, he's gonna go to Houston. Oh, he might even go to Phoenix because he's in Arizona. No, he's literally just having chicken and waffles with James Harden at an Arizona restaurant. That's all he's doing. He's not doing anything else. He might discuss it with James, but James ain't gonna say nothing. James ain't gonna say a thing. Oh man, so I believe Supersonics, They could bring him back. They could. I reckon they could draw him back. You know, complete max contract, because it would be the first player that they get. Which would be a muzzin. Be fantastic. Now I'm thinking about it. What else today? Warriors again. Back on the Warriors. I can't stand them. It's not I can't stand them. It's that Curry's not that good. He's really not. Curry is just Steve Kerr in Steve Kerr's prime. If Steve Kerr played in this era, he'd be literally Steph Curry. But no, he played in the era where it was a mid-range shot. Boom, Michael Jordan. Whoosh, fade away. So, this team shouldn't be winning this much. I mean, oh yeah, Harrison Barnes. He is not staying. There's no way Harrison Barnes is staying. And to be honest, if I'm Warriors, if I'm Steve Kerr, to be honest, I don't really want him to stay. I mean, what has he really done? Steve Kerr believes that he can be developed into a top-tier player. That's why he's giving them minutes in the finals, even though he doesn't deserve these minutes in the finals. Because he believes he's going to be a top 10, top 5 player in like 2 years. That's not going to happen, Steve. It's just not going to happen. And you know what? If you want to keep Harrison Barnes, you're going to need to pay him big after you guys win this championship this year. Because he's going to be like, I'm a 2-time champion. I deserve a big contract. You pay him big, and then when Curry gets out of his contract, Clay gets out of his contract, they're both going to want big money. And they're going to have to separate because you wanted Harrison Barnes so badly. Piss him off. Get rid of him. Just see you later. You have fun thinking you're the best. You get overpaid, and then let Harrison Barnes live out his life being a overpaid guy for maybe 3 years, who probably will get traded halfway through that stint, maybe even in Milwaukee. Just send him on his way. See you later. You have fun. You can be mediocre somewhere else. We'll stay here and keep winning championships and prepare for the future when they're out of the contract. That's why they have such good bench players. Have you seen Steph's contract? He isn't getting that much because of his first 5 years of injury plaguedness after he was out of his rookie deal. Warriors got him for basically what's looking like now as deal price, but back then was like, you're kind of overpaying him because he's an injury-prone guy. He's cut. To me, he was starting to be like a Greg Oden, but because he wasn't picked high enough, he wasn't. So he still got the deal. And now he's the number one, quote-unquote, number one player in the league. And now he has all the... Now he's going to be out of contract in 2-3 years, and he's going to want money. Klay Thompson, 2-3 years, he's going to want money. You're not going to be able to afford him, and you're not going to be able to afford all your bench, like Mo Spades, Rodano Barbosa, Sean Livingston. You're not going to be able to afford those guys once these... As soon as those 2 contracts end, or one of those 2 contracts ends, and you've got to pay one of them big money, that's when this dynasty will fall. Or if they keep Harrison Barnes for a lot of money, that's when the dynasty will fall. Because once one of those 3 gets big money, they can't pay these role players as much as they're paying them no more. And Sean Livingston's getting a fair bit. He's so underrated as well. He should be a starting point, Sean Livingston. And he was for... No, he wasn't actually. No, that was Jack for Cleveland. And that was Darren Williams in Brooklyn, even though Darren Williams is now trapped. So, they're not going to have a dynasty for very long. So yeah, San Francisco fans, eat it up. Because guess what? This may be the last year you guys win the championship if you keep Harrison Barnes. If you let go Harrison Barnes, I'm calling 3-peat or at least finals. If they get rid of Harrison Barnes. They keep him, dynasty over, it's dead. And where do they go from here? They are back down. I still reckon they'll be a top 4 team, maybe just top 6, but I don't believe they'll be up there in the caliber of, oh hey, we're still contending for a 3-peat, because you know what, other teams are coming up. Other teams, Minnesota's going to be there in a few years. Everyone says this year they're going to make the playoffs. I think they're still 1 year away from that. I feel like they need to get used to Tibbs' system. I feel like Karl Anthony Towns needs to develop another year, and Zach LaVine needs to develop another year, and Andrew Wiggins, they all just need 1 year under Tibbs to sort themselves out. I feel like everyone's going to be so excited for Minnesota next season. They're going to start slow, but they're going to finish strong and just miss the playoffs, or they're going to just sneak in and play the Spurs, Thunder, Warriors, or even the Clippers. I believe that the Clippers are going to, this last year, they're going to go, they're just skyrocket. I believe that. Moo's a big Clippers fan, and I'm saying that to him. Going to skyrocket, going to get up there, They're gonna at least get past second round. Western Conference Finals, I'm predicting it already. I'll get into predictions later. But my prediction for this game is Draymond Green's not gonna have missing Draymond Green. He's not gonna have that much of an impact. Draymond Green. Who do they bring in? Mo Spates. He's still better than Kevin Love. Festus Ezeli. He's still better than Kevin Love. No matter who you put in there, still better than Kevin Love. So it'll be close. It'll be within 10 for once. I'm not going to watch the game. I'm going to be at work. Fun. Yay. But, yeah. How long are we away from the game? Maybe an hour, I think. So I'm going to maybe watch the first quarter. Watch the Cavs maybe dominate to begin with. And then hopefully Curry... This is Curry's game. Curry hasn't had a breakout game. This would be Curry's game. A closeout game in Oracle. It's going to be Curry's game. And it's just a sad season, really. This season started off with so much promise, so much goodness, and it was about to end with so much goodness with the Thunder beating them. But then they came back, and I was like, "Ooh, yes, ooh, it's gonna be exciting." But see, every one of you guys said, and you know, Jalen Jacoby on ESPN Radio, who I listen to on their podcast, Bill Simmons, The Ringer, on theirs, they're all saying, "Oh, this is the dream matchup we wanted: Warriors and Cavs." As an overseas fan, I don't want that. I saw that last year. I'm over it already. I don't care, because you knew straight away the Warriors had their number. Everyone's like, oh yeah, but they have Kyrie and Love. I always thought Love was shit. Even in Minnesota, I thought it was bad. He was getting triple-double numbers, but that's because Pekovic was injured nearly half the time, and so he had to step up. So when they did that trade for Wiggins, I was like, that's the dumbest move you've ever made in your life. That's worse than letting LeBron go to Miami. That's worse than getting rid of Dion Waiters. Should have kept Dion bloody Waiters. So, LeBron's GM skills aren't actually that great if you look back, and neither's Gilbert's. If it is Gilbert, I'm still a bit fuzzy on who's taking the reins. But, yeah, just what's happening? Just, they didn't need to make any moves with LeBron coming back. It was just going to take maybe 2 years for them to make the finals. But LeBron wasn't happy with that. LeBron needed, to me, he should have taken rest for a year. Should have taken rest for a year and a half. Like, not played as much. Rest up, because now he's going 6 to 8 every year. He's going to retire early. He's gonna retire in about maybe 3 years. I don't see him playing longer if he makes another finals, or if he makes another long playoff run, because he's played so many minutes, played so many games. Same with Dwayne Wade. He's close. He's very close. Oh, I'm having a hard time swallowing. So, that came out wrong. Oh, jeez. So yeah. So back on what else? Yeah. So. NHL, Pittsburgh, yeah, P-Town, pen. Pittsburgh Penguins, love you, get to put another number on the jumper, you know, get a jump. I'm going to buy a jumper with the years we won on. It'll be fantastic. It's Pittsburgh fan of everything. It's good time. I haven't seen us win anything since 2008. It's been a long time. Whew. Wait, no, 2009. Pens won in 2009, not Steelers in 2008. Pens won in 2009. So, yeah. And Curry's going to win. He's not going to get Finals MVP. He'll probably go to Clay. I mean, I hate Clay. Clay's probably my worst hated player. But yeah, so congratulations, Pens. Sorry, Cavs. You're going to have to wait another 3 years. No, you're going to have to wait another 20 years for Cleveland to win anything. And Warriors, congratulations. You're going to head into San Francisco with a banner. So, it's going to be a lot of fun to watch that. Woohoo! See, I really wanted to see the Thunder and the Cavs. That was going to be an amazing series. It's just, we didn't know what was happening. With this series, we saw it last year. I saw what happened last year. I wanted this series. If you're a true, knowledgeable person, you didn't want the Warriors and Cavs. If you had the knowledge of the game itself. Not the players of Curry versus LeBron. No. If you actually had a knowledge as a basketball IQ, you would have wanted Kevin Durant and LeBron, because that was just going to throw a whole different dynamic. Maybe Kevin Love would have shined in this series. Maybe Kyrie would have had Westbrook's number with the amount of Westbrook's turnovers. Durant versus LeBron. The real 1 and 2 in the league. The real 1 and 2 in the league matchup. That's what we wanted. But that's all for me right now, guys. Battery life about to die. Have fun watching the game tonight. Go Cavs, but the Warriors are going to win. RABZ out. See you later. Peace.